This is Mark Fidel, and I'm hanging with none other than Scott Holt, guitar player. Spent years with Buddy Guy.
10 years.
10 years. That's a long time.
It's a long time to do anything.
It is. And we're at DC Music in Blaine, Minnesota. A great little shop.
Yeah.
And you're here playing, promoting a new record you got coming up.
Yeah, we got a new record coming out in June called From Lettsworth to Lettsworth, the music of Buddy Guy.
Music of Buddy Guy. Well, talk a little bit about it. What inspired it other than your history with Buddy?
That was, the main thing. We had done 5 records and we were getting ready to do our 6th. And I wanted to do something that acknowledged where I came from playing, but I didn't want to do a record where it was me trying to be like Buddy Guy, because that wouldn't work. So we just set up in the studio, the 3 of us, and just hammered down for 3 days and knocked the record out. We did 19 songs, just picked songs from his whole career and just played them, the way we would play.
Played them the Scott Holt.
Yeah, well, yeah, whatever that is.
Nothing wrong with that.
Loud, just loud. And I'm real proud of it. I think it's a really good record. And it's I hope it's a good example of what we do live.
And it's just the trio on it?
Yeah, yes, no overdubs, no guests or anything. It's the first record that we went in and just really just ran the tape and played. And that was sort of the goal. And then, if nobody else likes it, at least we like it.
Well, what are some of the songs on it?
We did First Time I Met the Blues. We do My Left Eye Jumps. We do things like Been Gone Too Long from the Stone Crazy record. We just kind of we took things from the Chess stuff. We took stuff from Vanguard. We took stuff from the Silvertone years, and just tried to get a cross section of songs that the first criteria was Buddy wrote them, and then when we got enough of those, then we wanted to get some of the songs that he really owned, and made his own that other people had written. Like, he didn't write First Time at the Blues, but it's a Buddy Guy song.
It's the definitive version.
Yeah. So we did those things and just really picked the ones that we thought we could get a handle on. The hardest part was singing them more than playing, because Buddy's voice he's got huge range.
Yeah.
So he can get really high, and it's hard for me to do. So.
Like I've often said about Buddy Guy is being the greatest guitar player on the face of the earth, as Eric Clapton calls him.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the best singers in the world.
Yeah, he's
just a tremendous singer. And that's a tough act to follow.
Well, it's hard. He's such a great guitar player that you forget that, when he stops playing guitar, he's singing. So yeah, I agree.
And then the polar opposite of that for me is Robert Cray is such a great singer that you forget how good a guitar player he is.
Yeah, there's that too. So.
But yeah, that's interesting. I want to talk a little bit about your time with Buddy. You were with him from
'89 to 2000.
Okay.
And it was, it was my formative years. I got with him when I was 21 and never been on the road before, and spent 10 years learning how to play and learning how to be on the road.
Well, how did that come about? Were you still back home, or were you?
I was in Nashville, and my father was working in Florida, and Buddy played down there. And my dad hooked it up to where I could go down and meet him. And so I went down, and he introduced me to him, and I was horrified and couldn't talk. And for some reason, we just sort of hit it off. He invited me to his hotel room the next day and gave me a guitar lesson. And so I got to, play the Buddy Guy guitar that's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now. I played that one. And he taught me about Sonny Boy Williamson and Howlin' Wolf and stuff. And it was, looking back on it, it was amazing. At the time, I was, just in the moment and couldn't register it. But for about a year, we just sort of stayed in touch on the phone. And after about a year, he was getting ready to change his band, and he offered me a job. Yeah, I didn't hang up the phone before I said.
Were you with the band when that happened?
No, that was really. I played in a couple of just. After I met Buddy, I went home and put together a band. I said, okay, now I gotta get a band. And so I had guys that we would, just set up in the garage and play. But I'd never really, done too many gigs or anything like that. And so going out on the road and playing with him was really a learning experience from the start.
It's quite an opportunity for a 20, 21-year-old.
It was huge. It was huge, and at the time, you don't think about it. You can't ever realize what you're going through at the time. I don't think. it's after the fact you look back and you go, wow, man, that was really neat to get to do that, you know. So I was really lucky, and you know, we're still friends. I still talk to him all the time. We don't get to see each other much because he works, you know, as hard as we do. So
yes,
we're always going like this. But,
and he's officially an old man now too.
well, yeah, but you know, the older I get, the older you have to be an old man. So
True that. But you know, what are some highlights on the road? I mean, what are some of your best memories of being on the road 10 years with
Buddy, mostly just the people we got to meet and play with. I got to meet every guitar hero that I ever had that was still alive. I got to meet Clapton and Santana and B.B. King and Johnny Hooker and Albert Collins, and just Albert King, just all of them. And you know, Buddy's so respected by all those guys. You know, we'd be at a gig and Clapton would come up to Buddy's dressing room and say hi. You know, so it was wild to just sit there and watch the respect and stuff. But those are my favorite memories. Are those, and then the memories of just, you know, us hanging out.
Yeah.
You know, him telling me all these stories. We went to Johnny Hooker's house one day for just a visit, and that was, you know, that was a cool thing to just sit on the couch at Johnny Hooker's house and listen to him laugh. So.
Yeah. I know that laugh, actually.
Yeah, that's not what you would expect.
Not at all. Not at all. Yeah, well, you know, that leads into the guitar players that you respect and whatnot, and your heroes. Who are some of your other influences aside from Buddy, just as a player?
Jimi Hendrix was the first one. That's Jimi Hendrix was the person that I heard play, and I said I got to get a guitar and start playing, and that was it. And from Hendrix, I found Buddy Guy, Stevie Ray Vaughan, and it just sort of was a snowball. And around the same time, I was getting into people like Prince, you know, for his guitar playing, but just for the musicality of the whole thing. And just, you know, that was another thing that I learned from Buddy, was not to be narrow in your musical taste. You know, I mean, you'd think, well, Buddy only listens to blues, but he didn't. Buddy was schooling me on everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and then the musicians in the band, I would learn about different people from them. So I had a huge just musical education, just listening.
Yeah.
That was important. But Hendrix and then Buddy Guy were probably the two biggest influences for me.
Okay. And then back to the album a little bit. You say it took 3 days to record, and you got 19 tracks on it?
Yeah. We were moving.
That's a lot of songs in 3 days.
There was not a lot of take two or take threes on it, you know, because we would kind of just, the guys in the band are you know, two of the best musicians I've ever played with. And I'm not saying that because they're listening.
Yeah, not because they're standing right behind the camera over here, right?
Doing this. No, but they're great musicians, and we've played so much together that we communicate almost by just, you know, just how we stand or how we move. And we would just, you know, call out a key and say, okay, it kind of goes like this. And, you know, most of the songs were first takes. Most of them were just, you know, knock them out. Okay, let's do the next one.
Well, I know it's an interesting dilemma for an interviewer with a musician to say, is there a highlight or two for you personally? Something that stands above the rest. I'm sure it's a great project overall.
Well, for me, it changes from day to day, and it depends on what I'm listening to, how I'm analyzing it. Because that's the bad thing. I don't get to listen to the record and just go, oh, I just like this record. I'm sitting there going, okay, how did that work? And is this going to come out good? I like the whole thing, and I like the way we put it together, and I like each song on it. Really, I like them all for different reasons. I think my favorite today is probably When My Left Eye Changes. But tomorrow it's going to be something else, because I'll listen to it again and go, no, I like this song. So.